Let's dive a little deeper into the Queen's faith and her role when it came to religion. To help us do that, let's bring in John Allen, editor of Crux. Hey, John.
Hey, Christine, how are you?
Good, good. So, as we just mentioned, Queen Elizabeth was the supreme governor of the Church of England, and she held the title of Defender of the Faith. Now, Westminster does have an archbishop, and people often think of royalty as figureheads, really. So, what exactly was her Christian role as queen? What do those titles actually mean?
Well, I think by all accounts, Queen Elizabeth took that role as defender of the faith quite seriously. She did attend church services every Sunday, and it seemed fairly palpable and fairly credible. I mean, she often talked, for instance, about the parable of the Good Samaritan as a kind of parable of selfless service to others, and something that meant a great deal to her. We also know that she was great friends with many Christian leaders. She was, I think, especially struck by and interested in the figure of Pope John Paul II. So, by all accounts, I think there is a strong sense that Queen Elizabeth was a very sincere, a very committed Christian believer. And I think that's part of her legacy, Christine.
And she did share her faith through her Christmas messages. We just showed a few of those. Did those messages have any impact on an increasingly secular Great Britain then?
I do think the impact they did have is that it meant that, despite it all, that somehow holding on to the Christian faith and to the symbols of the Christian faith remain part of what it meant to be British. It is hard to know, isn't it? Like in the long run, how much impact that had on the day-to-day quality of lives in the United Kingdom. But it does mean that somehow this idea that British identity and that the institutions of British life are somehow tied up with Christianity. That survived, and I think in some to some great extent because of the personal witness and in the personal testimony of Queen Elizabeth. And in one of the world's most runaway secular societies, I think that's no small thing.
Hmm. You mentioned the popes before, and Pope John Paul II was the first pope to step foot in Britain. What significance did her relationships with the popes have on not only the monarchy, but the entire Catholic Church? She met five of them.
The United Kingdom, let's remember, like its foundational act almost was an act of defiance to a pope, King Henry VIII, severing Great Britain's deference to the Pope in creating the Church of England as a kind of separate entity. And in some ways, Great Britain has always seen itself as a kind of alternative, is a place where the Pope, where his authority does not run. And so the idea that the sovereign of Great Britain, and arguably the most beloved sovereign, would have been so respectful and so interested in cultivating good relations with popes, I think that's enormously important. And it coincided with a period of time where, in many ways, Catholics were rehabilitated in Great Britain. They became productive, accepted, respected members of British society. And I think Queen Elizabeth did a great deal to facilitate that.
I read that a Vatican official called her the last Christian monarch. Now her son Charles takes over. So what does the future of the monarchy look like in terms of religion?
The monarchy in England, for all of its trials and travails, nevertheless represents the institutional heart and soul of the United Kingdom and of the British nation. And the fact that both Queen Elizabeth and now King Charles III both see faithful Christianity as part of that identity, as part of that profile, if you will, of what it means to be institutionally British. I think that augurs well, and both of them, the great respect they show for the Catholic portion of their population, Also augurs very well for the place of the Catholic Church in British society going forward.
All right, John Allen, editor of Crux, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.